are here, and welcome to the first edition of the In the Hunt podcast. My name is Jake Mendel, and I'm joined by Topher Cochran. And if you listen to our preview, we're going to stop you right there, because Topher, I have a huge issue with our preview. I was trying to listen to it the other day, and I got 5 words into it. And we introduced our podcast by saying the In the Hunt podcast is a podcast. Wow, we really buried the lead. So let's try this again. Topher, what does being in the hunt mean to you?
In the hunt means that you're basically you defeat the New England Patriots at home,
right?
And then you go 8-6, and then you lose 2 in a row to go 8-8.
It's great.
When you could have been 10-6.
Oh,
that's awesome. In the hunt. It's so close, but yet so far.
That's basically what we're trying to capture here. How being a Dolphin fan means you are being so close yet so far. How you can talk yourself into anyone being a good player. Literally anybody. You can make yourself think that a wide receiver that carries, sorry, what were you going to say, Topher?
I was going to say that in the hunt is also kind of like a philosophy.
It is.
You start applying for jobs, you're in the hunt. You graduate high school. You know who you are, Jake? You're in the hunt.
You're single.
You graduate college. You're in the hunt. You got to start applying for jobs. You started getting interviews. You think, oh, I got this. When no, you didn't. You definitely just showed up with a shirt half untucked, not shaved at all. You got a very childish haircut like you went to Supercuts. All of us are in the hunt at one point in our lives, and we're just here to bring you Dolphins in the hunt perspective.
And yeah, we're all going 8-8. We're gonna all do it together. So basically,
we're just trying to get by.
Oh yeah. So basically, that this podcast is about, we're all trying to get by, and we're gonna try to do it together. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna cry. We're gonna cry some more. Maybe drink a little to stop crying. But overall, we're gonna cry about the Dolphins. That's why we're here. And in general, Topher, tell me about yourself.
I'm actually a school teacher. I worked in sports radio. I quit radio because I got tired of it. They didn't pay me enough. So then I became a teacher so I can complain about the pay there. But I'm on summer break right now, so I'm temporarily unemployed. Just not really collecting anything. I kind of stay home all day and work out and research. What about you, Jake? You sound thrilled.
I'm hyped. I'm hyped to be here. I'm hyped to be here with you. And I'm a graduate student currently trying to get my degree in sports journalism. We're getting there. So
you're not in debt yet. You're almost there.
Yeah, I'm not in debt until I get the first bill. Until then, I'm flush. We'll go with that. So we're kind of going to jump right into it. We're going to talk about the Dolphins because we're addicted. We're going to talk about them 24/7, 365 because that's capitalistic America. Sure. All right. So basically, in the hunt, the Dolphins have won less than 6 games only twice since 1970. And that's pretty hard to imagine because there have been some really bad teams led by some really bad quarterbacks, Cleo Lemon, Pat White, Gus Frerotte, and they've only lost less than 6 games twice, which would be 2004 and 2007. And to follow with that, they won more than 10 games 13 times since 1970, which still isn't really a lot. So you know what that means, Topher? Can you guess?
What?
It means they've been in the hunt 33 times. That is a dynasty. Forget the Patriots. That is so hard to accomplish. It is so hard to be that mediocre that often. We just got to sit here and talk about it. And speaking of mediocre, we'll get into our first topic right here. Topher, how you feeling about Jarvis Landry?
If you follow me on Twitter, I've sarcastically compared him to a Devon Best. Because I've always thought that him and Devon Best have the same game in terms of just being, quick guys who can make catches and who are tough.
Right.
It's my ongoing joke, and the fact that so he wants the money to go out, he wants this $15 million, and then he goes to Cleveland, which I thought was great when they traded him to Cleveland, because out of all the organizations you go to, he goes to Cleveland. So then he's just kind of throwing some shade at Ryan Tannehill right now, and to me, I really don't care.
It's kind of interesting how you're so mad that you think taking a 5-year deal in Cleveland is going to make anyone jealous. Basically, when I look at Jarvis Landry, he's like when you're in an argument on the internet and you hit him with
when you're mad online.
Yeah, when you're mad online, you hit him with "you mad, bro." Like, I ain't mad, you mad, bro? And it's just like someone gets triggered. And that's what Jarvis Landry has kind of felt like, where he's just felt personally attacked So he has to go out kicking and screaming and all these ways of getting him upset, or getting Tannehill and the team upset. What's interesting is people got real mad about this on Twitter.
They were mad online.
They were so mad online. So I posted a poll. I wanted to really get the emotion. As a journalist, quote unquote, my job is to capture raw emotion of both the fans and the players. So I posted this poll on Twitter, and I wondered, what is Landry better at catching, footballs or feelings? Topher, did you weigh in on that?
I did. I'm gonna, it's my political opinion, so I'm not gonna tell you which way I voted.
Okay,
my right as an American, but I did see the results.
We're at here. I got them right here. There are 373 votes. 91% say Landry's catching feelings better than I'll ever catch a football. Can you believe that?
The thing is, I'm not shocked at it because he is great at catching feelings, and he can't catch a football. He can catch the living crap out of a football.
Yep.
It just might be shorter. It might just be short of the first down. But he can still do it. Like, he can still catch it. But he's saying all these things that it's like, I don't get it. He just really reminds me of like a middle school kid.
Exactly.
Who's just really trying to complain about, like, how he's not with his friends anymore, so he's just got to complain like nonstop. And what's funny is, like, so Twitter, this is the best thing about Twitter right now, is whenever an athlete says something, there is a crowd of people who just start digging up old tweets or trying to find old tweets.
Right.
And next thing you know, there was old tweets of him fishing with Ryan Tannehill, basically calling him an OG. Like, there's like all these superlatives that you would think someone likes you.
Right.
But apparently Ryan Tannehill never spoke to him or called him.
I mean, is that really that huge of a deal, though? I mean, I remember hearing that Mike Wallace saying when he joined Miami that, yeah, Tannehill, he'll do better than Mike Wallace. Or, Roethlisberger, no problem. And it's just one of these things, you gotta hype up your quarterback, sure, but coming out and bashing Tannehill, it doesn't really seem like it's accomplished anything. You're on a team that's won 2 games over the last 2 years? 1 game over the last 2 years. And when we look back, like, say 15 years from now, and we look at, Devon Best, Brian Hartline, and Jarvis Landry all followed the same suit of sputtering out, going to the Browns, and what we saw with Hartline and Best is they disappear. Is Landry going to follow that? I think, when we look in like 10 years and we look at those seasons where Brian Hartline is one of the only 3 Dolphins to go over 1,000 yards twice in their career, are we going to say, like, when we realize the Pro Bowl means literally nothing, are we really going to, like, when we're looking at just stats, see much of a difference between what Brian Hartline did and what Jarvis Landry did?
The only thing you see with Landry is the stats, the inflated stats. On top of, so you have the inflated stats on top of, I mean, he does have like a very, like, he does have a great person, like a great personality, like a superstar type thing. Like, you always wanted him on your team.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so you've always wanted him on your team. He works hard. He's in with like Odell Beckham. They are really good friends, but like, it just kind of seems like he's always just tried too hard for that attention, and it's still like he's just trying too hard for that attention right now. Like, yo, you got paid, man. Like, you got paid. Shut up. Seriously, just go play football in Cleveland. Like, you're catching passes from Baker Mayfield and Tyrod Taylor. You have Josh Gordon, who's opposite of you. David Njoku, who, it's his second year right now, but like, the guy's got upside.
He plays the same position.
Talent around you.
He's basically,
you have all this talent on your team, like, that's like up potential talent, to be excited about. I just don't know why you got to sit here and talk about Miami the entire time. But like, I do think that there is this. I thought about this the other day, Jake, that if a civil war were to actually break out, the first 2 cities to actually fight would just be Cleveland and Miami. I think, like, they would just meet in Kentucky and fight for no reason at all, because there's so much like sports anger between these 2 cities.
And nothing would be accomplished. Nothing.
It's like Mean Girls. It's so fetch right now that these fights would happen on Wednesday. We would all wear pink, but nothing would get accomplished. It would just be still arguing. Batteries would be thrown to the Miami people. Jarvis Landry would be complaining. Jarvis Landry would just be sitting on his high horse complaining about Tannehill. Tannehill wouldn't be doing anything. He would just be there, like, with his little weird face, jumping off a boat. Like, and the best part is Tannehill. Like, he has no personality. Like, he's like, talking to a cardboard box.
It really is. That's the one thing I've always seen about Tannehill. That's the one thing about the Joe Philbin era that I think got to Tannehill a little too much. Man, he really does sound like a robot up there. It's just, we're always working to get better. We're always trying to work as a team. It's the same cliches. And I mean, that doesn't really matter. That's a lot of like nitpicking, but man, it does kind of get old, doesn't it?
It definitely gets old, Jake. You just want some guy to have a personality.
Exactly.
And he doesn't have anything. The only thing you know is like as far as personality, yeah, he has a kid. That's like about his personality. Like he
Almost
actually congrats on the sex. That's about it.
Working his way to a second. And I hindsight's always 2020, but I think it's funny how when the Dolphins were like, hey, we're thinking about re-signing Landry, it's can you be a professional? Can you be an adult? Can you focus on yourself, not let your emotions get to you? Last year against the Patriots, I mean,
It just got worse.
He got really bad, and I think we're still seeing that. And it's interesting that this is finally when fans are like, nope, I'm ashamed I ever liked this guy, which you shouldn't. Landry was fun. He was great, but the Dolphins were kind of smart to move on. I mean, at least I like to think so.
I mean, Jake, is it fair to ask that he's going through puberty right now?
Yeah, okay. Like how LeBron came to Miami to learn how to win? Jarvis went to Cleveland to learn how to lose.
Okay. Humbly. And it's the opposite right now.
And if it doesn't work, I mean, I'm sure the Carolina Panthers will give him a massive contract 5 years from now. But moving on, I thought this was pretty interesting when you shared this to our little rundown here. The Ringer, Bill Simmons' website, said that the Dolphins' secondary is very underrated. And just before we kind of dive into this, Armando Salguero of the Miami Herald posted last week that the Dolphins' secondary is arguably their weakest link. It's interesting how you have someone based in Miami saying one thing, where this, I guess the Ringer will say, is national media saying another thing. Topher, where do you stand on the secondary?
Well, considering today during OTAs, all I got was just Jakeem Grant and Devontae Parker completely roasting the secondary. I don't know how to feel. Because you read about, they have like these young players, in which they do. They dropped that Cordrea Tankersley last year, Xavier Howard. Like he looked like a baller in some of those games against New England.
Oh, that was incredible. That I'm ready to sign him to a new deal just based on that.
Oh, definitely. Give him what Jarvis Landry should have got,
exactly.
just to really have some fun with it. But so then you have Rashad Jones. McDonald was whatever to me. He reminds me of just a guy with big arms, big biceps. That's all he is to me, just big muscles.
But there's nothing wrong with that. That's football.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's the perfect city to have big muscles. Think about it. It's Miami. You can go to the beach. You can go to Fort Lauderdale and just show your biceps.
And you're not even mentioning Lippett Island.
Lippett. The best part is, Jake, I think I coined that phrase when I actually build up the energy. I actually do want to dig up my old tweets of Lippett Island.
I wouldn't be surprised if you're the guy. And I mean, all joking aside, and like we might be sipping the Kool-Aid, I like Lippett. I think he's fun to watch. When the Dolphins made the playoffs 2 years ago, he had a lot of really big turnovers. And what did he do yesterday? He intercepted the Brock Osweiler for a pick six on a screen pass.
A screen pass.
On a screen pass. How do you do that?
They had to They had to tell Tony Lippett, listen, it's going to be a screen pass. Like either or you like. I was still trying to figure I can't even do that in Madden.
Right.
Intercept a screen pass, and he just went ahead and I don't know what it looked like. We don't have video of this stuff. So, but when you read like a screen pass, you're sitting here like, what in the hell is going on in Davie?
You're lucky that we don't have video because we'd see some wide receiver probably get cut after letting Lippett just kind of sprint by him. And then, kind of staying on the same topic, we haven't mentioned this year's first-round pick and Minka Fitzpatrick. Excuse me.
We haven't even mentioned Rashad Jones, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you don't need to talk about the G6.
He's a given.
He's a given. We know what Rashad is. We don't have to talk about him because he isn't in the hunt. He's above in the hunt. He deserves better. But we've seen Minka Fitzpatrick come in, and early on we heard a lot of, we're still doing 2 safety sets, maybe some nickel, but we really didn't see a lot of dime looks with, the 3 safeties. And it's OTS. All right, let's take a chill pill until yesterday. Topher, they did it. They had 3 safeties on the field at the same time. and I'm ready. I'm ready to go out on a limb and start this. I don't want to say clickbait, but this headline that all of Dolphins Twitter is going to use come week 4 when the Dolphins face the Patriots. Minka Fitzpatrick is the hashtag Gronk stopper. How do you feel about that?
I can get behind it. I mean, I thought the Dolphins might lead the league in having potential Gronk stoppers, by the way, in just 2. Deion Jordan was supposed to be the Gronk stopper. Think about just the fact that we're going through the Gronk stopper part 2.
Yep. Really.
Like we had the Deion Jordan. That was it. Oh yeah, this guy's athletic enough to cover him. He's 6'7". Basically Jason Taylor athleticism. He's gonna stop Gronk, and nothing happened. And now we have Minka, and you think Minka can? I don't see why not. He's from all the reports and OTAs is that he knows the playbook.
If anyone
he's a smart guy.
From everything we've heard, it's him. And we've been hearing that he's been getting snaps in the slot. And with the contract that was just given to Bobby McCain, which basically locked him up for another 3-4 years, you have to think Minka lining up in the slot is to stop one person if you have Bobby McCain in the slot. And that's Gronk, right?
Specifically, just his jersey shouldn't say Fitzpatrick. It just say Gronk stopper.
Hashtag Gronk stopper. I agree. You're playing for the name on the back, and it's Gronk stopper. I think we're onto something here. Just wait. He's going to be the guy. And I mean,
week 4.
I think he can do it. I
don't see why not.
I was sipping the Tannehill Kool-Aid earlier today. I was ready to go all in about how they're going to be great this year. But
well, that's classic in the Hunt syndrome right there. You've been diagnosed with in the Hunt. That's a cold. Go on at WebMD right now, Jake. Feeding into OTAs. Classic in the Hunt cold.
It's run of the mill, by the books. Everyone else is probably feeling it right now. And Topher, you said you even poured a drink before this. That's part of the in the Hunt syndrome too, is it not?
Well, I mean, so much of the in the Hunt it's basically, like I said, it's when you go to the doctors and you're like, my throat hurts, my nose is stuffed, my allergies are acting up. Oh, you got a cold. What? You have any medicine for it, doctor? Just rest.
Just muscle up. You'll get through it.
Just muscle through it. Go to work. If you need a doctor's note, I'll sign one for you. But you're really fine. You can go to work.
It sucks. We understand, but in reality, you go to work. You're a big boy. You can do it. That's basically being a Dolphin fan. And mentioning, having a drink, I could not believe this, and I kind of wanted to call BS on it when I read that Cam Wake has never had beer or fried food. Which one? No, I am going to call it because everybody in America, no doubt in my mind, chugged a PBR in high school. You do it. Everyone's done it. I don't.
Mine was Natty Light.
It's same thing. Same Natty Light or PBR. It's like, I don't know. I can't even think of anything. They're that equal. I've never seen two things that just kind of, the Venn diagram is just one side over the other. But Topher, do you believe that he's never had beer or fried food?
I find that hard to believe, especially going to Penn State. Fried food at least. Like, you tell me, like, you've never had a funnel cake? Like, what's your favorite fried food? Give me your favorite fried foods, and I want to go give those to Cam Wake. For me, it's a funnel cake, Popeye's fried chicken. It's not an endorsement. It's just Popeye's fried chicken.
It could be. And Popeye's get a hold of it.
Fried Oreos.
Yep. Fried Oreos. Hell, even give me like onion rings, like a.
Oh, and French fries. Those are fried, right?
Anything.
French fries are fried.
Yeah. Give me anything like this, and all of a sudden, like, I wouldn't be able to control myself. I could try my hardest to remain as motivated as possible. But I see that stuff, I smell that stuff. Oh my God, I can't control myself. And I don't think I'd be able to do it for 18 years if I would be able to become Cameron Wake. Do you?
I make these kind of like personal sacrifices in my life. I try to, at least. I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna do anything. I'm only gonna eat healthy today. Right. Today I had like a s'mores cupcake.
How dare you?
Like a mini one, and I just ate it once. Like ate it one big bite.
You snorted it basically.
Snorted it, yes. Freebased it. Just went in. It was delicious, by the way. It was awesome. I wanted more, but I was like, no, I gotta have restraint.
But imagine not even having that one. That's what Cam Wake's done for 18 years. That is insane. I think he's been more deprived than anyone on the Dolphins. Imagine not being able to have fried food and your football team sucking. Like,
yeah, what do you go to escape?
Where's your happy place? You can't have a beer? Like, Oh my! What does he do? Go watch film? Oh boy, that sounds. It
And
sounds brutal.
when I remember, I heard in an article that I heard in an interview that when he goes out, he has like water shots,
Oh,
and it's just like, dude, man. Either it's like I hope there's either gonna be a shocking revelation that he just like when he like retires, he just looks like a fat ass,
I wouldn't be
or
surprised if the many football players who don't eat like fried food and are like super healthy when they're like in their playing career, once they move on, I could
they just
see them
go it's binge eat.
lose control, lose all control.
Eight years of eating, he does it in one day.
Oh my god, that would be the best day in the history of the universe, though.
Reminds me of the character on South Park that was playing World of Warcraft. Like the minute the minute an athlete retires who's like on a strict diet, just gains like he's already what he's like 250.
Yep, somewhere around there.
It's just 300 in 3 days.
Oh my god,
His body does not
wouldn't
handle the
surprise-
food.
And you know what? He deserves it. He's been through a lot.
He's probably never taken a good crap then. Think about it. If he's never had fried food,
Oh boy, that's
a good dump, like that's like right. That's part of the perks of having fried food is like the good quality dump that you get out of like the last thing of like.
it's like a
Here you
breath
go,
of
buddy.
fresh air. Well, it's like a breath of don't breathe it. Don't breathe it. When you're doing that, don't breathe
Look, you're not supposed to. You let other people breathe it.
Let
Like,
them-
hey,
yeah.
can you go to that? It's like, hey, you want to go to that bathroom real quick? And then you run out.
All right. Let's move on from this shitty conversation and talk about the Dolphins tight ends, shall we?
Sure, let's go for it, Jake. What do you got to tell me about Dolphins tight ends? Because
So
I have opinions.
I was,
You
I
got to
was,
get out of it.
I was talking with my dad the other day, and the one debate we had is I think the last couple of years the Dolphins have usually kept 3 or 4 tight ends, and the Dolphins drafted 2 this year, one in the second round, one in the fourth round. How many tight ends do the Dolphins need to have on their roster for you to be concerned about either Jaceki or Smythe?
Well, they have 4 right now. They have Derby or Darby. I don't know how his name is.
Yep, Derby.
Gasecki or Jaceki. I don't even know what his name is either.
Dude, you're slacking.
Yeah, I don't care right now. And they have Durham Smith, whatever you want to call it as well. We get it, man. And then we have Marquise Gray, right?
True OG, yeah. Yep. So we got 4 right now. How many of them do you expect to make the roster?
Oh, they have Gavin Escobar too. That's 5.
I actually like Escobar. I'm a big Escobar truther. See, the list just goes on and on. How many of them do you think make the roster?
3.
3? Which 3? Well, okay, the 2 rookies and who?
I could totally see Smythe going to practice squad.
God, I hope not. If you're a blocking tight end in the NFL, you have one job, and that's the
Do your job.
That
Do
is
your
literally
job.
to block.
It's the seal. Seal.
But
I think it's 3 or 4. You got to have some for special teams.
Right.
You figure the thing is, it wouldn't shock me if Giuseppe's just a wide receiver and they're trying to they have a goal in mind of him to be a wide receiver or to use him like one, and they're
He's
trying
like a
to
slot
see if he can
receiver.
actually. Yeah, and they're trying to see if he could do tight end things.
Right. And I mean, I think that's what a lot of people have been saying about Gase's offense. It does rely on like a really big tight end. And I was kind of sitting there thinking, with the Dolphins offense, one thing that's been really interesting is we see Mike Wallace come in and it didn't work. The deep balls, you could argue, Tannehill can't throw a deep ball, or you could argue that Mike Wallace can catch one. It doesn't matter. But when Kenny Stills came in, a lot of his production came from the slot, and he's still connected on a lot of deep balls. But the thing that's been the difference about the two is it seems like a lot more of the deep balls to Kenny Smith have been over the middle. And so when we look at Jaceki, I think he's going to be doing that too, catching a lot over the middle, giving Tannehill someone comfortable to throw those, over the middle linebacker in front of the safety type guys. And when you see Stills on one side of the slot and Jaceki on the slot on the other side, I think that could be pretty fun.
It can be. So the whole thing was confusing with me. Is when that came out, was it Adam Beasley or Barry Jackson?
When what came out?
When the article on how they don't know how to use, they're trying to figure out how to use Jaceki.
Right. What you're talking about here is the article in the Herald where Right. I got it right here. It's by Beasley. Concerns about Jaceki. Basically, they're looking. He's looking lost at times, and that he's a non-factor. But it's interesting. We only heard that once, and we kind of heard from other people that he's looking all right. He's just trying to prove what he can know.
Well, you'd get the occasional like tweet, oh, he just caught a fade pat, he just caught a fade right in the end zone, he caught a jump ball in the end zone.
Right.
So like I don't have that high of demand for him. It's just make a couple plays for me and don't be a screw up. Uh, I was telling you this before we started recording this that like my concerns or tight ends or my annoyance of Dolphins tight ends has always just been stemmed back to Michael Agnew. It's really
You're not
him.
wrong.
It's
You're
no one else.
Right.
It's because Mike Sherman yelled at him on Hard Knocks, which that Hard Knocks, by the way, is still leaving lasting effects in Dolphins' lives.
Oh my God.
It's when they're when he's yelling at Michael Agnew that like whenever I see a tight end who's like drafted early, I'm like, all right, we got an Agnew now because Agnew was that guy who was athletic. He had all these athletic tools. He impressed in the combine. Gesicki impressed in the combine. And then you read this thing about, they don't know how to use, they're trying to figure out how to use him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just annoying, but overall, like I said, it's OTA, so I don't care.
And like Agnew, he just had that face that just.
He looked like a dope. He looked like a dope.
It looked like you were talking to him, and it just was in one ear and out the other. And the one thing that kind of stuck with me, what you just said, is if Smythe is on the practice squad, I'd be actually pretty upset with that. He's I mentioned to you this before. Smythe's the type of guy I'm gonna play every week in FanDuel, thinking I'm smarter than everybody. Like, yeah, this is the week.
He's $1,000.
Yep, he's $1,000. This is his 2 touchdown week. He's gonna have like 16 yards, but that's what I want. I want Anthony Fasano 2.0. Like that's what this team needs. It's a really in the hunt position to have that blocking tight end, and it's a really Dolphin thing to have that tight end have a big game. Did you see Smythe's? He had a pretty interesting quote, I believe, last week during minicamp. Did you happen to see what that was?
What was it, Jake?
He said he went through 3 pairs of gloves in his first week from sweating so much. Can you believe that? 3 pairs. You know how thick gloves are?
That but it doesn't shock me because living in South Florida, I don't know if you get it when you're up in a Pittsfield, Massachusetts, but there are some things down here, man, Jake, that you can take a shower, all right? You get dressed, and you'll be drenched in sweat a minute later.
Dude, I love it.
As if, like, you just worked out, and you got to take another shower. Like, it happens down here, man, where it's terrible to sweat, like the humidity and sweat. So I'm not shocked. But, yes, I do kind of think, like, bro, are your pores in your hands, like, the size of the little, like, football laces? Like, how big are your pores to, like, just be drenched in sweat?
And, like, that's the first time I ever heard that. And you know what? If he's willing to do that, if he's willing to sweat through 3 pairs of gloves, he belongs to my football team. No one, like, he's not going to do anything bad. If he's willing to do that, I'm willing to let him put it all on the line. I want him to be one of my 11 on offense.
You know how they have when the turf is rainy, when it's rainy or snowy, and they got to get like longer spikes for their cleats.
Oh, he needs thicker gloves.
Do you think like he has like equipment malfunctions where he just has to put on like not isotoners but like those big construction mitts?
Topher, when you really think about it, we should become PR guys, because wouldn't Smythe be the perfect guy promoting Hamburger Helper, just wearing those 2 big gloves with like the red noses on it, trying to block like Von Miller or something?
Yes, and the thing is, it's like yes, like when you see that he has got to go 3 gloves, it's like one of those things where you're like, what in the hell is going on right now?
And before you know what's going on, you're getting smacked in the face.
Yes.
Topher, I was kind of interested by this. I don't know where you put it, but looking at the rundown here, you say that Jawan James and Walt Aikens are the only players left from the 2014 draft. And my response was just simply, oh my God, the Dolphins suck at drafting. And before we kind of dig into this, Topher, why did you want to talk about this?
I didn't want to talk about it. It was just Dolphin news, and I'm looking at it, and it's my only thing too is damn it, they are terrible. Like Jawan James is your starting right tackle, and by the way, for the past like 3 years or 4 years, I feel like he's been hurt for half of those years.
Right.
And then Walt Aikens. And then Walt Aikens, like he's just been a special teamer the entire time. Like he's a Milton from Office Space. He's just been like there the entire time. Michael Thomas left. You're like, oh, I just want to play football now. And so like that's what I imagine. Walt Aikens is just Milton from Office Space.
I liked Walt, but I definitely see that, and that's brutal. It's horrible because it seems like we can go back to any draft, but when we revisit one draft, because 2014, now there's two guys left. There isn't a single player left from the 2013 draft. Do we need to bring up how bad this draft was? Do you remember this draft over? Don't look it up. Don't look it up. Tell me.
I actually have it up right now. It was actually Landry was on the team.
No, this is 2013. This is 2013. Don't look it up.
It was?
No. You're talking about 2014. I want to know if you remember everyone that was drafted in 2013.
Deion Jordan was traded up for him.
Yep.
Caleb Sturgis.
Yep. Wow, you jumped all the way down to the 5th round. Okay.
Yeah, because I drew a blank after everybody else. Mike Gillisley.
Yep. Wait, nope. That was the next year.
Are you sure? Yeah, that's about it, man.
Dude, you don't remember Jamar Taylor or Dallas Thomas? What about Will Davis? Deion?
Yeah, oh my God.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Jelani Jenkins. Can you just
Jelani Jenkins? Yeah, that's the other guy. Yeah. I got the UF guys. I got mixed up.
Oof. I mean, we can only hope that they're starting to do better drafting, but looking back at those years, oh my God. How and we talked ourselves into these guys.
I didn't talk myself into Dallas Thomas or Jamil Douglas or Billy Turner.
I was ready to say that Jamar Taylor would be a good safety. I remember talking about that after he got hurt against the Browns, only to go and play for the Browns. Oh my God. Horrible drafts. Terrible. But that, you got to draft bad if you want to be in the hunt. You know what I'm saying? And
That's terrible. How does that even happen? I mean, you stumble in it. You got a starter out of it, but outside of that, I just don't quite get it.
It's horrible because when you look at those drafts with like Dallas Thomas, Billy Turner, who was the third one there?
Jamil Douglas.
And all we needed is, so like according to Pro Football Focus, the Dolphins were like the worst offensive line in football, like the worst linemen, bottom of the barrel. They just needed to pick up guys that were better than literally the worst people in the league. They couldn't do it. They found people who were worse than the worst. And it's like, it's mathematically like near impossible. But, it's what the Dolphins do. And then Topher, we're going to kind of keep the trend of, in the hunt. That's the recurring theme. It's the trend of the Dolphins. And we're going to kind of jump into some in the hunt moments to kind of get a vibe of the tone of the show and what we kind of want to do. Do you have any in the hunt moments? And these are kind of like, you described these well for the show, so I'm going to let you do it. What are the in the hunt moments?
In the hunt moments, or when you're taking the Redskins to overtime and you need the slowest receiver on your team to return a punt for a touchdown. Another one, when you're up by 2 touchdowns against the Browns just to send the game to overtime. When you're facing the Seattle Seahawks, you remember this one, Jake, and the sprinklers go off and you end up winning the game.
This is like
when you're going.
You described it well. They're Jeff Foxworthy. You're a redneck. Yes. It's you're in the hunt win, and these just remain true. I think we got a couple more. What do you got?
When you're going against Geno Smith and he trucks your middle linebacker running into the end zone for a touchdown.
Donnell Ellerbe. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was when they were 8-6. They needed to win one out of the last 2 games, and Geno Smith came into Miami and just trucked Donnell Ellerbe into the end zone.
You're also when you're in the hunt, when you're going against Aaron Rodgers and you call a timeout on defense, right? They called that timeout, right?
Yes.
Philbin called a timeout. And then I think Aaron Rodgers is still confused as to why they called a timeout, by the way. And they fake spiked it as well, and they picked on Philip Wheeler.
That was our secret plan. It's like they'll never know, but we have our secret weapon, Philip Wheeler, out covering a tight end. Oh boy.
And so there, and then also when you just have Joe Philbin on your team as your coach, you're going to be in the hunt the entire time, and it's been proven that. Look at the. Is he on the Colts right now?
He was their offensive line coach. I don't know if he's still there. I don't think I want to know. No. He's the Packers offensive coordinator again.
He's had his old job of just fixing PowerPoints.
He's making Aaron Rodgers PowerPoints. He's telling him
it's in the Google Drive. It's in the Google Drive, Aaron.
It is. Oh my God. It's just horrible that when we were thinking about names for the podcast, we wanted something that could really capture, Dolphins and Dolphins Twitter because we're pretty engaging there. We like to have fun. I mean, we love the Dolphins. We like to give some people a hard time, but in general, we're here to have a good time. We're here to, we'll get a little nerdy, get a little, use little numbers, but in general, we're here to embrace the mediocrity that is the Dolphins. And so when we were thinking of names, we first thought of the 20-yard box after Ryan Tannehill, but that didn't really answer what we wanted to do. But in the hunt, there's just so many things that are relatable because there are players that just specifically fit the mold of the Dolphins, kind of mediocre type. And Topher, one of the things we wanted to do is create a in the Hunt Ring of Honor. Do you want to explain to everyone what that is?
Yeah, so the Ring of Hunt, the in the Hunt Ring of Honor is the actual Dolphins. They do have these Ring of Honors, like Dan Marino's on it, Jason Taylor. It's basically all of the top people all the top players and who have been on the Dolphins. Not just like they're not Hall of Famers, like they're just overall great players in the organization. So we wanted to do it a little differently. And being in the hunt, you're bound to have guys on your team who are going to be on your Ring of Honor. And Jake, you mentioned one of them earlier in the show.
Oh my God! Wow,
he went to Cleveland. He went to Cleveland. He was a wide receiver.
No,
Jarvis Landry.
Brian Hartline.
No, Jarvis Landry. Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Sorry. See, that's how confusing it all, because all these guys just fit the mold so freaking well.
You had Brian Hartline, and yes, he is an in the hunt guy, like through and through. 1,000-yard season 1 year.
2 years.
Gets paid, and still falls off the face of the earth.
No, he fell down. He caught the ball and fell. He didn't fall off the face.
It fell down off the face of the yes, which is basically saying the earth is flat in a sense. If he could fall down.
I mean, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But basically, each week we're going to go through and we're going to pick a couple guys, like a Brian Hartline, where you see the potential, you see the opportunity there for these guys to be good and consistent. But then you realize, like they say, go to Cleveland or something. You realize, wow, we force-fed guys that really weren't that good. Like, and we fell for guys who are just...
We made them look mediocre.
We made them look mediocre when they're far below that. Most of the time. That was kind of mean. I apologize. So, we're going to put out a poll on Twitter. We're going to use our Twitter handles, the very creative Jim Mendel 94 for me, and
Topher Cochran 108.
Topher Cochran 108. If you couldn't guess, I was born in 1994, and Topher's birthday is October 8th, because we're incredibly original. But we're going to post a couple different options who we think should be our first person into the Ring of Honor for the In the Hunt podcast. And, a couple, I'm thinking we'll do 3, Topher. You want to do 3 options for our first show?
Yes.
All right, I say we do Brian Hartline as 1, just because
of course.
Been mentioned.
Keep it simple. All
right, go ahead and throw it out. We'll do a little draft.
Koamisi.
Oof. Another one. It's like, just wait till he's healthy. This guy's great. Just wait
till he's healthy. All Man, right. We really need what's the status on Koamisi? Questionable all week. Next.
Nah, all month. Questionable for the month. We'll try again next month. We'll see how he's feeling. And then finally, for a third one, I kind of want to go a little out there. How about Olivier Verdon?
Yes. That's out there.
It's the pressure truthers. Yeah, he didn't get the sacks, but he got
I was just going to bring that up. Like, he was the reason why they didn't beat the Jags that 1 year.
We made mediocrity okay because we made this thing up called pressures. Why sack the quarterback when you can get close enough to scare him?
A sack is just good enough to scare him. Pressure is just as good enough as a sack.
Exactly. When you really think about it, oh my God, we could get really into that. But as I mentioned,
we have a handful of topics that just don't make sense that we constantly discuss on Twitter.
It's glorious.
And like one of them is sacks and pressures. The other one is you told me earlier today, and it actually made me laugh. I was out getting a hamburger, and you told me it. And is it better to have a good day on offense at practice or a good day on defense?
Yeah, so who wins? If you have a bad day on offense, it's a good day for the team. Like you can't who do you want to win? I can't figure it out. My brain's hurting trying to figure this out.
I feel like you should just have no one gain yards. It's you're going against yourself.
I say we have it. What you want to do is you want to get to 4th and 1 every time, but then you just never go for it. So it's like letting the defense know that, hey, I might have gotten this, but I don't want to make you look bad. And that way,
it's letting the offense know, hey, we might have stopped you, but we want to let you run it back again.
Exactly. It's just a little. It's like the blindside hit when you go to do it, but then you stop. But then you let the other guy know, like, hey, I was right here. Just letting you know I could have blown you up your spot, but I didn't.
I'm right here. Footprints. It's like footprints. Footsteps.
Right over the middle. Footsteps. All right. But Topher, we've been talking about the Dolphins for like 40 minutes. That's more than like a TV show. And you know what?
Yes.
I'm pretty content. I've enjoyed this conversation with you. And you know, you can find this conversation on iTunes, on Google Play, and Podbean. How you feeling about that? You hyped?
I am. Oh, definitely. I'm hyped because I get to listen to myself on iTunes, on Google Play, or on Podbean.
You know what you can do when you're in your car? You know, you can hook up your Bluetooth to your car speakers through iTunes, Google Play, or even Podbean.
You could subscribe to us on iTunes, and please at least give us a review, 1 or 2 reviews.
And you know
keep it simple.
You know what, Topher? You know what we'll do? We'll interact with every review, good or bad. We'll say them on air. You know, maybe bleep out words if we have to, and we'll react to them. We'll give our professional opinions on if we agree with them or where they could have, graded us better, I guess. But before we go, I just want to say shout out to Houts. He created our beautiful, beautiful cover photo. And man, does it look sharp. What do you think about that, Topher?
I love it. Because first of all, it's simple. It's very simple. It's legible, which means you could read it, and it says "in the hunt" as if it were a dolphin. I like it a lot. I have no complaints at all. It's very simple. It's cool. It's not too flashy. It just gets the job done. It's very in the hunt, like 8 and 8.
You know, it's the end of the show when Topher has no complaints. When he's at all his grievances, that's time for us to wrap it up. But Topher, it is.
I finished my drink. I finished my drink, Jake. I was watching Indiana Jones, so I kind of want to get my drink back and watch Indiana Jones.
Oh, well, there's always a sequel. But Topher, this was great talking to you. We have a lot of fun stuff planned. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. If you didn't notice, subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, whatever floats your boat. And we'll keep you guys updated. We have some very cool stuff planned for the future. Rock on. Fins up. Have a good night, Topher.
8-8.